I'm going to ask all of you to stop spreading this rumor about how everything blue didn't burn and explain to you that is called a tar baby. In this information psychological warfare, you are getting attracted and sucked into a honeypot, specifically known as a tar baby. When you touch that tar baby, it leaves a black stain on you you cannot get rid of. And let me explain to you why this narrative is being inserted and by whom. The same people that send out these groups like Patriot Front that are obviously a bunch of feds pretending to be Trump supporters, and then they go out there and they mix and they mingle in with the Trump supporters and start chanting Nazi slogans in order to paint those Trump supporters with the same brush and be associated with those Trump supporters. Now, when someone's wearing a MAGA hat, they go, "Oh, I'll bet you love Hitler too, huh? You like to chant those Nazi slogans too, huh? You're one of those guys, aren't you?" And they all get mixed into the same pot. And so while I'm sitting there trying to show someone, look, the trees are burning from the inside. And this is a type of electricity that comes from the ground. And that is why it draws towards houses and cars, because they have more conductive material and are made of metal. And this electricity fire, natural electricity, is also why the trees are burning from the inside, like when they get struck by lightning. And the guy next to me is going, yeah, all that stuff and everything that was blue didn't burn. I get painted with the same brush as him. People associate me with those people that are saying that everything that was blue didn't burn. And it discredits the real evidence that is there. It discredits everyone that is asking questions and pointing out the anomalies and the inconsistencies and the impossibilities. And you are detracting from and diluting the pool of evidence. You're muddying the water and making it more murky and unclear. So if you want to get through to the normies, as we call them, the general public, and there's a large portion of that population that's waking up right now, mixing shit like this in will A, turn them off because it's too confusing. Even if it's true, I'm going to tell you here in a moment, even if it's true that everything blue didn't burn, it is doing yourself and all of us a disservice to say that. Keep it simple. Show them that the trees are burning inside. Like the thumbnail from my first Maui video and the thumbnail from the video just prior to that on the Isle of Rhodes near Greece, where you can see the flames burning inside of the tree. Show them that. You don't have to explain anything. You show them, say, fuck what you heard, believe what you see, and then tell them, now you explain it to me. But when you're trying to tell them about how blue things didn't burn, then you have to explain it and get them to comprehend and understand it, and that's 10 bridges too far for the normie, for the newcomer to this subject. Show them the trees are burning from the inside out and explain that it is a type of electricity coming from the ground. Those 2 points alone and nothing else. Keep it simple. They have to be able to understand the basics first before they can understand anything more nuanced and complicated. So you explain it as electricity coming from the ground, and that is why cars and houses are burned to the ground right next to trees that are untouched, because they have the metallic material within them that is more conductive of electricity. And the normie goes, oh yeah, and trees, that's wood. Wood's an insulator for electricity, huh? Yes, unless there is no more conductive material around like a car or a house that has metal in it, then with these levels of electricity that are trillions and trillions of watts, it will find a tree and burn it from the inside. Just like lightning, a form of electricity that they're familiar with, strikes a tree and they understand how it burns from the inside. They understand how electricity is attracted toward conductive metal material. And that is why it would draw towards those and leave the wood or the trees right next to the car and house untouched. So this was inserted to discredit the movement and the community and the group of people that are asking questions and pointing out the anomalies. And so they have some guys come in and mix themselves in with our group and go, yeah, and everything blue didn't burn too. Everything blue didn't burn. I'm going to show you how easy that is to discredit. And imagine hearing that as a normie. That's like saying a windstorm came along, a tornado or a hurricane, and it blew everything away except anything that was colored purple. Anything that was colored purple didn't get blown away in the windstorm. And they say, that's ridiculously impossible. Wind affects everything equally, regardless of the color. And fire burns everything evenly, regardless of the color. So you're going to lose them. And if you keep repeating that and it spreads far and wide enough, the whole truth movement around this plasma fire can be discredited. And when I go over to someone and start telling them, hey, it's an electricity-based fire burning trees from the inside and melting engine blocks and transmissions right off of cars that are sitting right next to unburned trees, they go, yeah, and I'll bet you're one of those guys that thinks that everything that's blue didn't burn too, huh? Yeah, get the fuck out of here, you nut job. That's what this is. It's a tar baby to discredit the discovery and disclosure process about the reality and the truth that these fires are not normal fires. So if you want to convince and persuade someone or wake up a large portion of the population that these are not normal fires, stick to the basics. Trees burning on the inside, ground-based electricity, a natural electrical fire. Once they can come to understand that, then they can go on their own path of exploration and discovery about directed energy weapons, tuning the frequency, everything resonates at a certain vibratory frequency. You have to explain all that shit to them, get them to comprehend and understand and believe it when you start with this shit about blue things didn't burn. When you show them the tree burning from the inside, you don't have to explain anything. You tell them, now you explain it to me, why are all these trees burning on the inside? And then when you show them the melted engine blocks and transmissions and houses that are completely to the ground right next to unburned trees, just say electricity. They have some comprehension and understanding of what electricity is and how it works and how it behaves. And when you insert that, electricity, they can look at this and go, oh yeah, now I do understand how the metallic materials of the cars and the houses are more conductive of this electricity than the tree standing next to them. And that's why none of it goes toward the tree, because it all follows the same path of least resistance once it's locked on to the house or the car. They understand the idea of grounding electricity. Like the electricity doesn't just spread evenly all over. Once you draw it to a grounding point, all of the electricity goes to that same point. And in this instance, in this example, that would be the house and the car draws all of the electricity in the surrounding area. That is why the tree right next to it remains unburned. Now let's talk about this tar baby that they're inserting into the narrative about everything that's blue doesn't burn. Hopefully you understand that's exactly like Patriot Front coming out and chanting Nazi slogans in the middle of a Trump rally. They are doing that to discredit you. They are doing that to dilute the pool of information and muddy the waters and make it very murky and nuanced when you can simply show them trees burning on the inside, electricity-based fire. That's why everything that's metal does not burns hot, and the things that are wood right next to it don't burn. That includes trees, fences, benches, chairs, tables. There's lots of things that are wood that did not burn right next to something that's metal or has metal as part of it that burned real hot. All you have to do is tell them electricity and they understand. They will get it. You show them the tree burning on the inside, they can see it with their own eyes. Tell them to explain it to you. You tell them that everything that was blue didn't burn. You're doing a great disservice to all of us, including them, by introducing that into the conversation. Even if it was 100% true, it would be doing a disservice to this learning curve that a large portion of the population is now engaged in. And they would disconnect, turn off, and tune out, and say, you're one of those tinfoil hatters. Why don't you go paint your tinfoil hat blue? So now let's look at this. This guy says, people on the ground in Maui, this is why they ordered a media blackout. You'll never guess what didn't burn in Lahaina. Everything blue is untouched. Conspiracy theorists are never wrong. Dues, directed energy. Now let me show you how easy this is to discredit as he gives his examples.
On the ground in Maui, this is why they ordered a media... You'll never guess what didn't burn. What didn't burn in the Maui fires? Everything blue, which is really interesting, isn't it?
Okay, guys, this is the last episode I'm going to do for a while, but it should be a pretty good one. It's things that did not burn during the fire. I went through hours of footage, and it was pretty interesting what I found. Here are the famous umbrellas. These are actually Tommy Bahama umbrellas, and I have pictures of these before the fire, so you can see what they actually used to look like. Not very different now. And then the sole surviving car on Front Street in front of the outlet mall. And I actually found another and then the sole surviving car on Front Street in front of the outlet mall. And I actually found another sole survivor car the other direction.
Except you can see that the car in front of it didn't burn also, and it's white. So calling it the sole survivor car, if you trust your own senses and you think for yourself, you can see the car in front of it also survived and it's white. And there are plenty of things that were blue that burned, and you can no longer tell what color they were. There are plenty of things that did not burn that are other colors besides blue. This flower pot could have been placed there afterwards, just to create this narrative. Likewise with this blue lawn chair. Ooh, look, and there's a blue house that didn't burn. And there's plenty of other houses that didn't burn that are different colors. So this whole narrative is completely empty and void of any true evidence or proof. And it discredits the proof and the truth that is there for all to see. That is why this narrative has been inserted into the conversation, to discredit all of us and dilute the evidence that is being produced with a false narrative that's easily disproven. If you had before and after photos, it would be very easy to show plenty of things that were blue that did burn, and plenty of things that did not burn which were not blue. So this whole thing is just completely fabricated. Use your discernment. And if you see anyone putting forth this narrative, draw their attention back to the two basics. Trees burning from the inside, these are natural electrical fires. That is why anything with conductive metal materials draws that electricity towards it and leaves the wooden things, trees, fences, chairs, other things that are made out of wood, untouched. Because in normal fire, wood burns before metal. But in electricity, metal burns before wood, and they understand that. Here's the thumbnail from 2 weeks ago. Massive plasma fire and social media blackout in Maui, where you can see the flames coming out of the tree that still has its leaves on it. That means flame didn't attack the tree from the outside. Electricity did from the inside, like a lightning bolt, but coming up through the ground. And 2 weeks earlier, only 3 weeks ago, there's another tree burning from the inside at the Isle of Rhodes near Greece. Blue things didn't burn is a tar baby meant to stain the credibility of people that are pointing out these anomalies. Don't fall for the trap. Show them the simple truth that they can see with their own eyes. And have them explain it to you, why this tree still has its leaves on it and is burning from the inside. And then give them the understanding that this is electricity based. Those leaves that you see blowing in the background are attached to the same tree that's burning from the inside. And having multiple examples of this is a lot more effective than telling people things that are blue did not burn. And I guarantee you, I could go to every fire from every place around the world that's on fire right now and show you these same burn patterns. Blue things didn't burn is a tar baby.